What's up, world changers? Welcome to the Mission Driven Impact YouTube channel, where we help social entrepreneurs and impact driven business leaders raise awareness for their organization by clarifying their message, getting the word out, and building a loyal community of fans and supporters. Now, in the past two videos, we've been talking a lot about how to identify who our ideal client is, as well as how our business interacts with that story. Where do we come in? And so if you haven't seen those two videos, I highly recommend you check them out. I'll leave links somewhere up here in the description. Today we're going to be closing off the series and talking about where we can find our ideal customers and clients online. Now, from a marketing perspective, especially a content marketing perspective, it's really important to know where our ideal people are hanging out, because we need to get ourselves in front of not just enough people, but the right people, right? We need a mix of quality and quantity, enough of the right people. But even if content isn't your top priority, I'm biased, I think it should be, but even if it's not, you need to know where to go to find your best and most aligned funders and donors. If you're looking for project or event sponsors, right, you need to know where to go and find them. I don't really have a SaaS audience, right, but if you are offering any kind of product or software, you need to know where do you go to prospect your sales? Where do you go to pitch yourself? And really importantly, when you're doing market research, when you want to know how are people feeling, what kind of words are they using, what is our target audience struggling with, what kind of messaging and media should we be using in our brand, you need to know where to actually go and find those people to ask them those questions. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 of the best time-tested strategies for finding your ideal customers and clients online. If you're up for a challenge, watch to the end, because I've got a bonus tactic that's really going to help you get yourself in front of your target audience. So let's get started. Strategy number 1 is to leverage the right platform. Now, this might sound kind of obvious, but so many organizations get this wrong one way or another. And I think there's 2 big considerations here. One can be summed up in the words of someone I look up to a lot, Ramit Sethi. He says, "Go where the fish are." In less aphoristic language, are the people you're trying to reach actually on the platform that you're trying to master? Are you casting a fishing rod into a pond that actually has fish in it? You can tell I don't go fishing, but that's the extent of my knowledge. I made this mistake for a long time by trying, I invested a lot of time and energy into growing Facebook before I realized that most of the people I'm trying to reach aren't really that active on Facebook. So don't make that mistake. Make sure that the platform you're trying to master, where you're trying to actually put your content, where you're trying to get yourself in front of people, that there's actually the right people there. That leads me into the second thing, which is to pick just one platform to master, right? I see so many organizations that try to do Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook and TikTok and Snapchat, and now Clubhouse and all the things all at once. Pick one platform to really love, learn, and master. It's going to take time to get right. It's going to take trial, and importantly, it's going to take error as well, in order for you to really get up to speed and grow a certain platform. So 1, make sure that the right people are on it, and 2, just pick one with the right people to really just devote your time and energy and resources to. That's going to pay off a lot more in the end. And then when all is said and done, you can go ahead and expand. Strategy number 2, guest posts. Period. Leave it at that. Guest posts. I think a lot of us have an idea in our head when we think about guest posts, and we think about someone famous writing a long blog post on somebody else's famous blog. Really what I mean by a guest post is just think broadly to any place, anywhere, any person or organization that wants to feature what you have to say. So of course you can write a blog post for another blog, but you can also have a guest spot on a podcast. You can write for the local newspaper or an industry magazine. Answer questions on a place like Quora or Reddit. An Instagram takeover. I don't know if that happens on other social media platforms as well, but anytime that you can leverage someone else's audience, get yourself in front of those people, that is enough to qualify as a guest post. And the reason for this, I think it's intuitive, is kind of simple, right? Someone has already done the work for building up an audience that contains people that might also, they overlap with your ideal audience. And so you can kind of put yourself on a different stage, not your own stage, right? You have a guest, you have a guest spot on a stage, and get yourself in front of those people as well. This can be kind of daunting and intimidating, and trust me, I've been there, but it's a lot easier than you think. And really, it gets easier the more and more you practice, the more and more you pitch yourself. So if you want to take an action step from this, find a blog that is read by people in your target audience. Ask if you can write for it. Find a podcast that you think your ideal audience is also listening to, and say, pitch yourself for an appearance on a podcast. Those little things really go a long way, and they really do add up over time. Strategy number 3 is to interact with existing communities. So where do your people hang out? The idea is that you want to go hang out with them, right? This is a question that you should know like the back of your hand. In fact, I have a video that I think it's called like 3 types of questions you need to ask to create an effective marketing strategy. I'll leave a link somewhere over here if you want to check it out. But this, you need to know where your people are, where they congregate. And the idea of this is simple. Just like, if we were talking about in-person events and things like that, we would go to networking events, right? We'd go to conferences. We would join meetups that are relevant to our interests. Or, if I want to hang out with people who are really interested in fitness, I'll probably go to a gym, or I'll join a running group or a biking group or something like that, right? If I want to be around more of a business audience, maybe I'll join Toastmasters, do things like that. Well, it's the same thing online, right? The existing communities are already out there. They're already established. A great one is Facebook groups, right? If you have people who are hanging out on Facebook, go interact with them on Facebook groups. Those are really highly engaged, and there's great places to do market research and sales prospecting and things like that. Another thing would be Reddit or other forums. I know someone who started what is now a 7-figure business by interacting with his friends on poker forums. It's not a poker-based business. It's a B2B business, for lack of a better phrase. And he just started by interacting with people who he knew would be interested on poker forums, right? So go figure out where your people are hanging out online. Where are there already communities of people who are engaging with each other? Just go hang out with them. Don't overcomplicate this. Get out there, meet new people, stay in touch. That's all there is to it. All right, before we dive into my advanced bonus tactic, if you found any part of this video helpful, if there's even just one tip or idea that you can pull out and use in your own business or organization, what I want you to do is like this video, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel. That lets me know that the stuff I'm putting out is helpful, actionable, useful, valuable, and that means that you won't miss out on more great content that serves you in the future. So like and subscribe so you don't miss out. My bonus or advanced strategy number 4 is to tap into influencer marketing. Now, I would definitely master the first 3 things we talked about earlier in this video. Influencer marketing takes a little bit of a different skill set, a little bit more finesse, a little bit more time. But when it's done right, it can be a very powerful engine for just increasing your brand awareness overall, for promoting your business, for getting more eyeballs on you. So the idea, I think, is pretty similar to guest posts, at least the way I think about it, right? You want to find someone that has a big audience full of people that overlaps with who you're trying to reach. And instead of, like in guest posts where you are trying to get them to feature you, right? You're stepping onto their stage. In influencer marketing, you're trying to write something or produce something that features them with the goal that it is so good that they just can't help but share it with their audience, right? It puts them in the spotlight. It makes them look so good that they think, oh man, my audience would just love to read this, and they share it. The idea, right, is that it's so captivating that they spread the word for you. They're kind of doing the legwork for you. But in order to do that, you really have to step out of the picture, right? It's not about you, it's about them. So it's easy to see this on a big scale. If I wrote about a celebrity, it may come as a shock to you that I'm neither a celebrity nor do I have a celebrity-sized network. If I write about Brad Pitt, just for example, and the story is so good, it makes him look so good that he picks it up and he shares it across all of his social channels, naturally, a lot of people are going to start checking out my business. Maybe some of them will even read a few of my blog posts, will join my email list, and will start, kind of start that process of that relationship building and eventually lead to a sale or whatever that bottom of funnel action is in your business or organization. But it doesn't have to be a celebrity, right? It can just be someone who's well known in your industry. I think really the only requirement I would say is that they have, again, an overlapping audience, and their network, their reach, their influence, by definition, is greater than yours. So find someone who has a large influence, who has a large network of people who you also want to attract. Produce a piece of content that is just so good that they can't help but share it. And then actually show it to them, ask them to share, and you'll start getting a lot more eyeballs on your business. Again, it takes a little bit more time and finesse. It is straightforward, but it does require a certain level of expertise. So use that when you're up for a challenge. Speaking of getting in front of your target audience, I've had quite a few people ask me about using social media for business and how to actually use it in a way that, again, just like our content, drives business results and actually impacts the bottom line. A lot of organizations out there, especially nonprofits, just people in the social sector, have these social media accounts. Are they actually impacting the bottom line? Yeah, that's a question you've got to confront in yourself. But stay tuned. I've got actually several weeks of content devoted to that in the pipeline. So again, subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell, and that way you won't miss out. Until then, see you in the next video.